Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with another update for my project Level Up. This is a project, if you don't know, which most of you probably do if you're not new to my channel. This is a project that I created a couple of years ago where I kind of wanted to focus on palettes as a whole. Instead of focusing just on Pan Those Eyeshadows and things where I roll in a singular shade, just use that one shade and then kind of ignore the rest of the palette. I wanted a way to still hit pan, still get use out of my eyeshadows and still have that like satisfaction of hitting pan, but kind of using the whole palette and not just the one shade. So I ended up creating this project where there's basically different levels. So right now I'm on level 5, and what that means is that I have to use every single shade 5 times, and that kind of corresponds to the using the whole palette, but I also have to hit 5 pans. Before that, you have a level 4 where you have to reach for every shade 4 times and hit 4 pans. Level 3, you have to use everything 3 times and hit 3 pans, and so on. And when you get to level 4, once you complete that level, you have an option to either reset the project back to level 1, where you use every shade once and hit 1 pan, or you can continue on and you see how far you can get in the year. I haven't quite decided, but I think I'm just gonna go back to level 1 after level 5. We'll see how I feel once I complete level 5 though. Spoiler alert, I haven't done it yet, which is not surprising because I rolled in a 20 pan palette last month, and I've only worked for it 1 month, and I've did again 5 pans and used every single shade 5 times, which is quite a lot. So I'm not going to roll out level 5 today, but I have a really exciting update nonetheless. I have some great progress on my palette. So those are kind of all my rules, I guess. I don't want to double dip in this project, so anything I'm using in a different project, I don't want to roll in here. But yeah, check out my introduction video if you want to see everything else. Oh, I do have also 3 weeks throughout the year, but I'm not going to kind of cover that today because I'm not going to roll anything else in. But yeah, check out my introduction video if you want to see my rules in details. But I'm going to jump into the update now. But before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So if you've been following along this project, my Pro Level Up Level 5 palette is my Love Nose palette from Beauty Bay. This is a beautiful color story. I will insert the footage now, what it looked like when I rolled it in last month. It is a very kind of romantic pink, purple, and a little bit of neutral color story. It has some beautiful sparkly shades, a lot of mattes, and it's right up my alley. I love these type of shades. So that is what it looked like at the last update. I have been showing this loads of love in the past month, and this is what this palette looks like today. So maybe you can spot some of the differences straight away. I will of course talk you through them, but I'm really happy with how this palette is looking. There's definitely been some big changes to this palette and progress. But yeah, that is where this palette stands today. Let's talk through the usage. So yes, I will have the differences here so you can kind of compare, but I will again talk you through each shade in order. So let me jump into that. The first shade in the palette is the shade Corset, which is a beautiful kind of camel tone transition shade. And this is one that I think I still want to focus on. I haven't decided yet, but so far I have reached for this one 3 times. So I haven't quite get the 5 use goal yet, but I think this one is going to work really nicely with my Panda palette. I had a similar shade previously in my rolling project pan, which is why I haven't used this one yet because, well, I used it a little bit, but I wanted to finish up a shade in my Huda Beauty Gold Obsessions palette, which was in my rolling project pan, and that was also kind of first transition shade, so I've been neglecting this a little bit, but I think I'm going to get more use out of it in the next month, but so far 3 uses. Next to that, we have the shade Cotton, which is just like a blending out shade, a cleanup shade. You can also use it as like a lid setting shade, but I don't set my lid. I just use these type of shades as a cleanup. And this one I've used quite a bit. I have 14 uses on it in this first month, and I don't know if you can pick it up on the pictures, but I'm going to try to show you here. That is quite a big dip in this shadow. You can see it right there, I think. I'm really, really happy with the dip in this shade. I feel we definitely have a long way to go. I think maybe we just slightly past halfway to the pan. But I'm happy with the 14 uses. I reckon it might take 10 more uses or so until I hit pan, but we'll see how long it takes. But I'm really happy with what that one stands today. Next to that, we have another really exciting update because that is in the shade Chandelier, which is one that I wanted to focus on in the first month and to pan on. And as you can see in the pictures, hopefully I was able to do so. I'm really happy. This is one of my pans for the month, yes, one of them, because I have more coming up. And this one took me 12 uses to hit pan on, so obviously as well, because we have used it more than 5 times, this shade is completely done. So 12 uses to hit pan, and that is the shade Chandelier. Then the last 2 shades on the first row is the shade Angel and Cheeks, and both of them I have used once each, which is actually in the eye look today. I'm using the shade Cheeks as my color transition shade, and then Angel to like buff everything out. So I'm using those 2 today, and that's the first use I have on those 2 shades. Let's move on to the second row. We have the shade Mahogany, which is like the deepest brown shade in the palette. And so far I have reached for this one 2 times, so I have 3 more uses to go, and I don't think this is going to be one that I'm focusing in on. So yeah, I'm just going to aim for those additional 3 uses. However, next to that, we have another really exciting update, because that is in the shade Candlestick, which is my second pan so far. This is one that didn't take me that long to hit pan on, because it's more of a crumbly shade. Well, it's not crumbly, but it's quite malleable, and it has a lot of like sparkles to it, which means that the formula is a little bit thicker, and I feel like you get through those shades a little bit faster too. So this one took me 7 uses to pan on. I use it all over my lid. I paired this one a lot with my Panda palette, because it's such a beautiful bronzy shade that it worked really nice with a soft glam palette. I did use it with some of the shades in here too, but since I'm trying to finish up a neutral palette with loads of mattes, this shade was really, really helpful, because it meant that I could get use of that palette in combination with this palette. So yeah, that is my second pan, and 7 uses on that one. Next to that, we have the shade Soap, which is like a light kind of lavender shade, and this one I've used 2 times so far, so I have 3 more uses to go. Next to that, we have another shimmer shade, which I already had pan at the beginning of the year, so I can't hit pan on this one, unfortunately, because I absolutely love it. And even though I do love this shade, I haven't used it as much as I wanted. I actually only reached for it 1 time so far. I think it's because I've been focusing on other shades in this palette to hit pan on when it comes to shimmers. So this one I just haven't gone around too much, but I have used it once, and I don't think it's going to be any problems reaching for it 4 additional times in the next month. Lastly, on the second row, we have the shade Flush, which I have reached for twice, so I have 3 more uses to go, and this is also a shade I'm using today. I'm actually using that one on like my lower lash line as the blending out shade. So yeah, 2 uses there. Moving on to the third row, the first 2 shades in this row, we have Pillow and Lavender. Pillow already had pan on it at the beginning of this project, but I have used it twice, and same with the shade Lavender right next to it. I also used this one twice, so both of those have 3 more uses to go before I've hit my goal. And with Lavender, I'm not planning to like focus on this one, so I'm just aiming again for those 3 additional uses. In the center of the third row, we have the shade Princess, which is like a lavender type of shimmer, and this is the first, I think, and the only, yeah, it's the first and the only shade in this palette I have not used yet. I have 0 uses on it right now. I just haven't really been going for these more cool tone purples. When I've been going for purples, I've been going for like slightly warmer purples, which is why I haven't reached for this one, but I'm expecting that it's going to be quite easy. My goal is to roll this palette out next month, so I do have to reach for this one 5 times, and it might be a bit of a push, but I think I should be able to do it. So yeah, 0 uses on that one so far, but I'm aiming to reach for it 5 times in the next month. Then the last shades on the third row, we had Handkerchief and Cupid, and both of those I have reached for once each, so 4 more uses to go with those last 2 shades. Let's move on to the final row. The first 2 shades, we have Lilac and Spark, and both of these I have reached for twice. Spark I already had pan on at the beginning of the year, so I need to just reach for those 2 shades 3 more times. And again, Lilac is not one that I'm going to focus on, so I'm just going to aim for those 3 additional uses, and that's those 2 shades. In the center on the bottom row, we have the shade Glove, which is a deep kind of purple shade, and I have reached for this one a couple times, but not as much as I would like. I mean, I have reached for it 3 times, which is pretty good. I'm more than halfway there. But again, similar to some other shades that are more kind of lavender undertone or cool tone purples, I haven't been reaching for these ones as much. Glove, however, is a little bit kind of in between warm and cool, and I can use this one with warm tone purples too, which is what I've done most of the time. Yes, I have used some of the other purples in here, but I've been leaning towards like warmer looks, which is why, for example, Lavender and Soap don't have as many uses as I would like. But anyway, that shade have 2 more uses on it, which I think I can definitely do in the next month as well. Then the second to last shade in the palette is the shade Confetti, which is, as you can see, my 3rd pan. This is quite a large pan as well. I'm really, really happy with how this pan is looking right now, not just like the pan, like the silver pan, but also like the overall eyeshadow. And this one took me 9 uses to pan on, so a decent amount. I used this one actually as a manicure one, so 5 of those 9 uses came from there, and then the remaining 4 I used on my eyes. And this is a beautiful shadow both as a manicure but also on my eyes. I really did enjoy this one. So it was quite an easy shade to incorporate and to pan on. So that is my third pan in the palette. Lastly, in the palette we had the shade Ruby, which is one that I'm using today as well. I'm actually having this one in like my outer corner and then kind of slightly into my crease, and I blended that out again with cheeks. So that is what I'm wearing mostly today. And this shade right here, I have hit my 5 uses on today, so I'm using it for the 5th time today, which means that my usage goal is complete on this one. I'm not sure if this is going to be one that I'm focusing on. I haven't decided. I know what my 4th pan, because again, if you have been following along, I have hit 3 pans on this palette, and I already know that my 4th pan will be that cotton shade up here. That's going to definitely be my 4th pan. But I'm debating a little bit between a couple of shades for my 5th pan. I thought originally about doing Corset, but I haven't even hit my usage goal on this one yet, so I'm not sure. But we'll see how much I use that one now when I have finished up that other shade that I had in my rolling product pan. And if it's easy to incorporate, I might try to hit pan on that one. Otherwise, Ruby might be one that I'm aiming for, because I really do like this kind of reddish, plummy undertone matte. I really do like it, but it will take away some of the shades in my palette because it's quite deep and I have a lot of deep shades in there. So I'm a little bit unsure what I'm going to do. I could also do one of the last 2 shimmers, but these 2 aren't my favorite, which is the shade Princess, right? Yeah, Princess and Cupid. Like these 2 right here. I think those would be semi-easy to pan on. I think once I hit my 5 uses on those, I'll see what they look like. And if I'm close to pan, I might focus on those 2 instead. But we're just going to have to see how it goes. So those are all of the uses and my update for this palette. Again, my goal is to complete this by next update. I am actually pre-filming this a couple days, so I have slightly more than a month left with this one until that update, if I need it. We'll see how long it takes. But I do have a lot of work left to do with this one. I think I calculated up, and I have used this one like 60 something times in the first month, like combining all of the usage, which is really good. Of course, some of those are like in these 2 shades that took more than 10 times to hit pan on, so that's going to be quite a lot of it. So I think I still have like equal as much uses in this one left. I probably have to reach for it in combination like maybe 60 more times again to complete all my goals, which will be quite hard in the month of August. The biggest, I think, hindrance with this palette is going to be that I'm going to go to Sweden for about 10-11 days. It depends, like, because we're driving there, so it's going to lose quite a lot of time driving. And I'm probably not going to bring this palette because it's quite big, and I feel like that's going to be a good opportunity for me to get use out of my Panda palette. So I'm probably going to bring that, and then a few kind of indie shadows. So I'm not going to bring this one, which means I won't be able to use it during that time. So that might again hinder my use with this one. So we'll see how I'm going to get on. But if I can, I will try to have this one out next month. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm a little bit nervous, but I do think I can do it if I just focus in on this palette. So that is going to be my update today. Again, I'm not rolling anything new in, so it's a little bit of a shorter video, but I'm really excited with what this palette looks like. I'm so happy with that this one looks so loved now. Yes, I only have pans on shimmer so far, but once I pan on this shade here, I will have a few more kind of other shades panned as well. And lastly, I do think I'm going to hit the pan on one of the masks for the 5th shade. But we'll see again how it goes with Princess and Cupid and how that looks at the 5 use mark. So I'm going to wrap up the video here. If you are doing Product Level Up, let me know down below if I haven't already found you and added you to the playlist, because I do have a collaboratory playlist linked down in my description box. It's always in my Product Level Up videos. If you want to binge some of this content, if you want to see some other people doing this project, you can check out that playlist. It will have everything from the start when I first introduced this project. What is that, like? Is it 2 or 3 years ago now? I don't know. Is this the 3rd year I'm doing this project? I think it might be, which is crazy. But yeah, anyway, you can check out everyone else who's doing that project in the playlist. And other than that, I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are. Let me know if you think I'm going to be able to hit all my goals by next update or not, or if this one is going to hang around for a 3rd month. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye, guys.